Continue with erosional features, and I started talking about erosional features a little bit earlier. I gave you some examples of them. This is out of Prentice Hall's textbook, and the illustration I think is really, really well done here. So we can really identify some of these features from this nice simple block diagram. So we had mentioned horns. Horns are the byproduct of where we've got a series of cirques that have been created. In this case, there I can count 1, 2, 3, and possibly one on the back side, a cirque. I've got these coals, which are also saddles, so big saddle shape. What else I've got in here that we've already talked about are hanging valleys, and we've got our U-shaped valleys, which is the primary valley, but we've got some additional shapes here that we need to address and talk about. And these are these tarns that we talked about. So if we look here, it's a little lake at the top of a glacier. It sits in what used to be a glacier. Sometimes we call them glacial lakes. If there's a series of tarns that come down, they're paternoster lakes, all right? So these are the primary erosional features post-glaciation that we see. I've got a picture here of a glacial erratic, and these are really fascinating features. They are exceptionally large. They can be the size of the largest buildings on campus. And what happens with these is that they ride on the top of the glacier. As the glacier is eroding material out, it can scour and create a condition where there, just like we talked about nick points, is it creates a weak member at the top of the glacier where it's scouring out, and a big chunk of rock falls, and it ends up falling on the top of the glacier. And over time, as the glacier is moving downhill, it carries these large glacial rocks with them, and will carry them way out onto a prairie environment like Alberta, like Montana, and then leave them behind. And these are called glacial erratics. So think of something that's erratic, something that is just out of place. We can identify where these came from, and they always happen in these nice linear trains, so we can get erratic trains. So here's some larger features of what we talked about already. Fantastic horn. This one's the Matterhorn in Switzerland. A beautiful bowl-shaped cirque. And then here is Yosemite National Park again. Big U-shaped valley, hanging valley here. In the back, I can see Half Dome, and Half Dome has a flat surface to it, which is part of this hanging valley here. This is Peyto Lake in the mountains of Alberta, the Canadian Rocky Mountains. Peyto is this fantastic blue color because what has happened is we get something called glacial flower. And I had mentioned, these massive rocks that come out of glaciers called erratics that are the size of like Williamson or Beagley, just big structures. But these glaciers and glacier rocks also create a really, really fine powder, just like you get flour that you can purchase or you make cakes out of. And that fine flour is deposited at the bottom of rivers, and those rivers empty into lakes, and then this material gets spread at the bottom of the lakes, and the refraction from the water in combination with the flour, the glacial flour, creates these incredibly blue lakes. And these happen all over alpine environments as you get these crazy blue lakes.